So my name is Anna Richardson, and I'm the Programs and Services Manager at the Green Beret Foundation. I first got involved with the Green Beret Foundation as a member of the Steel Mags, which is one of the family support programs offered by the GBF. I started with the Steel Mags in 2017 when my family was stationed as part of 5th Group at Fort Campbell. The mission of the Green Beret Foundation is to provide both Green Berets and their families with emergency, immediate, and ongoing support. The mission itself has been fairly unchanging, but what we do is make sure that we're adaptable to the needs of the regiment. So while the mission is always going to be to provide emergency, immediate, and ongoing support, what that looks like will change and adapt to the needs of the regiment and the families. So of course we saw a great change with the difference in op tempo. So there are far less individuals who are being deployed. We still have individuals being deployed to certain areas, but the pullout in Afghanistan, that's obviously going to change the landscape of how we're supporting our Green Berets and their family members. We also, in November of 2021, launched the Pineland Initiative, which opened up the scope of services that we can offer to our pre-9/11 Green Berets. So now we're able to provide all of our programs and services to any generation of Green Beret as well as their family members. At GBF, we have been able to assist 5,000 families per year with direct and indirect support. And that includes things like our scholarships for the children of Green Berets, as well as our scholarships for our spouses. So we have a pretty far reach. Our Steel Mags program is a big portion of that because they're very active in absorbing the information that we throw out there so that they can share it within their respective communities. And they also provide us with information about what's going on. They're truly the eyes and the ears of what's out there, and they help us touch as many families as we do each year. There is a true need to support the mental health of our Green Beret community, to include our Green Berets and their family members. Essentially, mental health is the key to optimal performance in all aspects of your life. So whether that be at home with your family, at work, or with your friendships. And when you start to take away from somebody's full mental health capacity, that's when they're going to start to feel the effects. So we can always push and push through, but that's going to come with pain and anguish. And if we at GBF can help remove some of that pain, remove some of that anguish, and allow somebody to operate at the best of their ability because their mental health is intact, they're going to be the best for themselves, and they're going to be the best for those around them. It could be described as simple, but it's absolutely not easy. There are tons of resources. So finding a resource, clicking on it, and asking for help is very difficult. Once you find that resource, it doesn't mean you can utilize it. You have to have the courage to make the request. And once somebody makes that request, they take the courage, they open the door, they open the window a little bit, we're going to jump through it. And we're going to make sure that we're ready, and we are definitely able to provide that support to help people build up their mental health, and we attack it from a holistic point of view. So there's nothing that somebody can bring to us and say, I'd like to potentially pursue this to feel better and do better and be better. We're going to take that into consideration and do everything we can to use what they're presenting and to, again, meet them where they are. We're not wanting to slap a one-size-fits-all answer on the case. We want to really work with them and meet their true needs. So in order for the foundation to be most successful, I think the greatest key is awareness. We can have the most amazing programs and services, which we do. We can have a stellar staff waiting to execute, which we do, but we need people to come to us. We need our community to know that we are here for them. And that's always building. Word of mouth is huge within our community. And so certainly every life that we are able to be welcomed into, and every Green Beret and their family that we can support, them sharing the word has been huge for us. But if we can get that on a grander scale, having awareness that we are here, we are ready, and we are able to support this community is the biggest factor. The greatest element, one of our most heavily used programs, is going to be, and always has been, the health and wellness program. And what that covers down on is also suicide prevention, suicide intervention, and suicide postvention. And we do have a fund specifically for that. It's called the Green Beret Fund. And we use that fund to support all of our families that come to us with needs with suicide prevention. So that could be anything with therapy, suicide intervention when we're really in the thick of it and we get that phone call that somebody is in an emergency situation, and the unfortunate case of suicide postvention, where we're going to stick with those families and we can assist with funeral expenses, the unfortunate reality of hazmat cleanup, as well as anything with travel expenses that might be incurred. Transition is a big piece that our community, as well as the big Army and all of the branches of service, are looking at. We are 20 years, post 9/11, and a lot of our community are making that transition out. So it's really important for us to get the word out that the Green Beret Foundation has resources specifically for that transition. And it's not just for the Green Beret. The transition is a family transition. And our program, Next Ridgeline, really addresses all of those needs when it comes to the service member and the family moving from military service to the next ridgeline, their next endeavor, whether that's professional, personal, educational growth. We're going to be there. And we have dedicated veteran services officers that are accredited by the VA to prepare, present, and prosecute as necessary those VA claims on behalf of our Green Berets. And it always comes at zero cost to the Green Beret. Nobody should ever be paying for that service. People can find out more information about the Green Beret Foundation on our website, greenberetfoundation.org. We're all over social media. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on LinkedIn. So there's frequently posts on there about any of our new and up and coming treatments that we're supporting, our program partners with whom we work. We have a specific network just for our transitioning Green Berets where we share job opportunities, and of course our social media for our Steel Mags where we share all of the same information with them. When I first heard about SGB, it was actually from Doc Springer when I was invited into a webinar to hear her speak about it, and I'd never heard of it before. And I was not skeptical, but intrigued. I had a lot of questions about it, and after that conversation, I definitely dove in and started doing some research because it does seem a bit too good to be true. How could an injection in my neck potentially reset my life for me, reset my mind so that I can better navigate the relationships around me, navigate them in a healthier manner? It seemed like a fantastic resource considering our entire community is usually operating up here in that fight or flight at some point in their life, if not more often than not. So for me, when I heard about it straight from Doc Springer, it was intriguing, it was interesting, and now that we've supported so many Green Berets and their spouses in receiving the care, it's proven. As a result of the Green Berets and their spouses reaching out to GBF for support with SGB, we have received only positive feedback. I have heard the community, namely our Green Berets, mention that they have never felt such a sense of calm and focus since their time in the team room than when they got the SGB. Our spouses have continuously reported that they feel like they can breathe again, that they feel like they're better apt to navigate the world around them. A lot of our spouses are dealing with, of course, hypervigilance themselves. There's a lot of stuff that sits on their shoulders, especially when their Green Berets are away for training or deployment. Most, if not all, of the duties of the household, of children, work, bills falls on their shoulders. So to be able to operate more at a level that's not fight or flight, but that's present and capable, and utilizing their energy and their brain cells for what they're having to navigate versus having to constantly be trying to calm themselves, has been just life-changing. We have had some of our Green Berets and spouses go through the program together, and it's an opportunity for them to share an experience of healing versus having shared trauma, which a lot of our couples come to us with. So it's really been something where when people ask me about the things that we support, when it comes to SGB, I can say that 9 times, if not 10 times out of 10, we get the feedback that it's been life-changing. People can breathe again. They feel like they're better able to interact with their family, with their friends, and as always, we encourage them with their therapeutic provider for follow-up or continuation of that care. I'd say for anybody who has any questions or hesitation or even an interest in receiving SGB, I would encourage them, if they're Green Berets or Green Beret spouse, whether that's current or former, to reach out to us at the Green Beret Foundation, put in a request for support, and we'll be able to talk you through the process of how we can aid in you receiving that care. If the intimidation is the cost factor, we can also make that connection between the service member, the veteran, or the spouse and Stella. We have a great referral process that's very simple. It's a matter of just knowing that somebody's in need and making an email introduction. And then we'll let the folks at Stella do the evaluation, do the educating. They'll make sure that they answer all of the questions that somebody might have if it's a matter of, is this a good fit for me? So there's always a resource where you can find out if it's a good fit, and then once that determination is made, if it is a good fit, then that's where the Green Beret Foundation is going to come in and remove that financial barrier, to include if there's a need for travel to get the care. So we're going to make sure, as always, that a dollar or a dime does not stand in the way of somebody getting the care that they need and deserve. And for any organizations who might be looking into potentially partnering, I would say they're more than welcome to reach out to us to learn about our experience, to review this video and see all the wonderful things that we've experienced. And I would recommend it without hesitation that people really dive in and learn more about SGB and ask the questions from the medical professionals. So I believe that SGB should be available to all trauma survivors, anybody in the Green Beret community, really any military service member, first responders, just anybody in general. Life is quite stressful, and a lot of people, especially with COVID and wherever we fall with the pandemic now, many people are operating in fight or flight. This is a tough world to live in, and this is an opportunity to help somebody in a very non-invasive way push that reset button, and again be able to take on their daily activities and manage the things that might otherwise trigger them beyond return, and allows them to take a step back and take a breath.